Tim Grover was quoted in saying that motivation is for those who don't know what they want. I've been struggling lately, like really struggling. And yes, I'm sitting in the squat. We're trying something new. I've been struggling with lower than normal motivation. I'm very vocal about the fact that I don't look for motivation anymore, but I still pay attention to when I'm just really not feeling it, like more than normal. And that's been lately. And on top of that, I've felt so foggy and just so clogged mentally. I bet you felt that way sometimes too. And so what I did, because I got sick of it, it's no way to live. It was impacting everything. I was getting more stressed out and I was shorter with my wife and kids and I just didn't like it. And so I did 3 steps that I'm going to give to you that I want you to do if you're feeling this way right now, or just keep in your back pocket for the next time you do, because it has made a world of difference inside of 24 hours for me. So step 1 was to actually own it. Instead of avoiding it and tuning out like I used to, I actually owned it. This is how I genuinely feel. Right or wrong, good or bad, doesn't matter. It's how I feel. And that alone can make a big impact on your ability to actually do something about it. Because historically for me, I would tune out. I'd scroll on my phone. I would do anything I could to not face it. You have to face where you're at in order to do something about it. The only way around it is through it. And so then what I did, and this is kind of a step 1A, is I prayed about it. I need that perspective that as important and valid as my problems are, in the grand scheme of the universe, from God's perspective, they're microscopic. Big God, small problems, small God, big problems. And so I prayed about it and I was honest with God. I told him how I was feeling. And then I always ended with David, how David did in the Psalms of, but you are God and you know best. And so I trust you. And then I sat down and I wrote everything down that was on my mind. I turned the faucet on, as they say in writing, meaning I wasn't editing anything. I wasn't trying to be organized. I just said what was on my heart. And here's why that was impactful, and it always has been for me, and it will be for you. It is unfair for you and I to carry everything that we're thinking about trying to do all at once in our minds. It's unfair. Why is that unfair? Can you do multiple things at once? Can you pay the bills, clean the dishes, love your spouse, and work out and eat well and work hard at your job all at the same time? Of course not. Then why do we try to hang on to all of those things at the same time? It will inevitably overwhelm us. It will inevitably make us feel bad. It will make us feel inadequate because we aren't meant to carry all that at once. It's one thing at a time. So what writing it down does is it allows you to itemize everything on your mind. Instead of it being this big ball of just stress and angst in your mind, you can actually look at things separately. And one of the things I wrote down was that although I work out every day and eat relatively well, I've just kind of been in the middle of the road. I kind of do intermittent fasting, kind of eat protein and produce. I eat a lot of protein, but my workouts, I kind of do my crawling around, kind of do gymnastics. I was just all over the place. And while it was getting me some results, I just know there's more. I knew there was more. And so what itemizing all the things in my mind allowed me to do was to go, okay, that is something I can control. I can switch around my workouts. I can fully commit to intermittent fasting again because it worked for me. I can fully commit to crawling around and doing that kind of training because I love it and it worked for me in the past. And instantly, I'm telling you, instantly, I started to feel some weight lift off my chest. Because for the first time in weeks, maybe even months, I was able to hyper-focus on the things I actually could control versus just feeling overwhelmed all the time. And in regards to the business, I was able to have conversations with people I know and trust and look at one thing at a time. It's like when your entire house is dirty and you don't even want to start because you're just it's so much, I don't even know where to start. So what I recommend is not clean the kitchen, get more granular than that. Unload the left-hand side of the top rack of the dishwasher. And see, this requires you checking your ego. Oh, that's not going to do anything. In the grand scheme, no, it won't clean your house, but it'll get that lead domino to fall. It'll be that feather that breaks the camel's back. We need to get that lead domino to fall somehow. And so you start small. You start with a small action. So for me today, after I decided, okay, this is how I'm working out and eating, I did that today. I've done that today. And I can tell you, I feel amazing. And all of a sudden, the mental clog that I've been feeling, all of these ideas and all the things that I try to think about came rushing back in. You are so much closer to the solutions to your problems than you think. But it requires facing it, praying about it to get the right perspective, writing it all down, and then picking one thing, no matter how microscopic, to start doing. I promise you, this helped me a ton. It'll help you too. See you next time. Time to get out of the squat. Oh!